Let's talk today about how the moderate resorts at Walt Disney World stack up against each other. So we did the tours of all the value resorts, and then we did a ranking of the value resorts, and then we did the tours of the moderate resorts. So now it is time for a ranking of the moderates. However, there's just one problem with that. And that is that due to some changes and upgrades in the last couple of years at some of the resorts, the moderate resorts are all kind of neck and neck and have a lot of pros and cons. So I'm gonna present the pros and cons of each to you and who I think would rank each as their number one. Quick disclaimer before we get into those, I want to mention that Disney considers the Fort Wilderness cabins to be in the moderate category, and they are price-wise, but Fort Wilderness is kind of its own unique thing, and so we're gonna cover it in a future video. For the purposes of this video, we're gonna talk about Port Orleans Riverside, Port Orleans French Quarter, Caribbean Beach Resort, and Coronado Springs Resort. Let's start with Port Orleans Riverside, which used to be an easy favorite in the moderate category, but now it has some competition. Let's start with the pros, which include the fact that it is gorgeous. It has tons of meandering paths and bridges throughout the property. One of my very favorite things to do when I'm there is to walk around and take pictures because it is so pretty. It also does have an on-site table service restaurant, and it has the food court, so you have those two. It has the boat option to Disney Springs, so if you want something other than just buses, you do have that option. Many of the rooms, the ones in Alligator Bayou, do allow up to 5 people, so I know families that are more than 4 often get frustrated with the choices, but you can do 5 here. And over in the mansion section, there are royal rooms available, which are beautiful. Those allow up to 4, but they are really well themed and a fantastic choice when staying here. On the downside, this resort is very large and spread out, which means it can take a bit of time to get around depending on where your room is, and it has a few different internal bus stops. If you would like to, I would consider booking a preferred room because that will put you closest to the main amenities here. The travel group who would rank this as their top moderate would probably be families of up to 5 who like the theming and want to have that boat option to Disney Springs. It might also be a top pick amongst princess-loving groups of up to 4 who will appreciate the theming of the royal rooms. Moving right next door to the sister resort of Riverside, over to Port Orleans French Quarter, which is the most compact one in all of Disney World. Starting with the pros, like Riverside, this resort, it has really beautiful grounds and the theming is very tastefully done. It is compact, so it's really easy to navigate and you're never very far away from anything while you're at the resort. You also have the boat option to Disney Springs, just like Riverside does, but here there is just one bus stop because it's so small. They don't need internal ones, they just have the one bus stop. This is also the only place where you will find Mickey beignets at Walt Disney World, and yes, that matters because they're delicious, and sometimes you make a special trip over there just to get them. You also have the option to walk over to Riverside or take a bus over there if you would like. On the downside, the smaller size of the resort does mean fewer dining options and recreation type of amenities, including the fact that there's no table service restaurant here, only quick service, and there's less in the way of recreation, that you can find more of both over at Riverside, which you can get to, as previously mentioned, by walking or taking a bus. The final downsides are that the rooms do max out at 4, so if you have a group of 5, this will not work for you, and the buses are sometimes shared with Riverside. So even though there is just the one bus stop at French Quarter, it will sometimes then continue over to Riverside to pick up more people. People who would rank this resort as their number one are groups of 4 or less who would want a quieter, quainter stay for their Disney World trip. Next up is perhaps our favorite in the moderate category for our needs, Coronado Springs Resort. Like the others in the moderate category, this one again is well themed. It has beautiful landscaping. It's one of the things we love about the moderate resorts is they all have this in common. It does also have great on-site dining options. Not only does it have more options than the other moderates, but I think it has more than any Disney World resort, which is fantastic if you're wanting to eat where you're staying and not have to go anywhere else. It also has what is widely considered the best pool, the main pool of all of the moderate resorts. So if you plan to swim, that might factor into your decision. Grand Destino Tower, that part of Coronado Springs Resort, has a more deluxe feel, which is kind of nice because you're paying the moderate price for the deluxe feel. And people staying in the tower have the option to book club level, something that we love to do, and it's the only club level option in the moderate category. On the con side, there is a convention center at Coronado Springs Resort, and when there is a convention going on, there are a lot of adults walking around with their badges and their business attire, and so that kind of vibe may not be suited for all guests. There is also a few internal bus stops, so it can take a little bit of time coming and going from the parks, although we find the location of Coronado Springs to be very convenient. So once you get going to your destination, it doesn't seem to take very long. Many of the rooms here also do not have a bathtub. So if a bathtub is important to you, this is a resort where you will need to request it since it is not in many of the rooms. And finally, it does have a max capacity of 4 in the standard layout room. So families of 5 might find it more convenient to stay at one of the others. This resort would be a top pick, a #1 moderate resort for adult groups or any travel group that would like to have the deluxe-like amenities at a more moderate price. And for the last moderate resort and the most improved in recent years, Caribbean Beach Resort. On the upside, again, beautiful, great landscaping. It also has a great main pool, and some families with little ones actually prefer this pool over the one at Coronado Springs because of the play area that is available for little ones there. They do have rooms that accommodate up to 5 people here, so you need to book that 5th sleeper room if you have a family of 5 or want that extra bed. There are not only good dining options available at this resort, but there are easy access restaurants right over at Riviera Resort, including the most popular character meal in all Disney World, Topolino's breakfast, which is a character meal. And at night, Topolino's is a great dinner option, not with characters though, and you can watch fireworks from up there. And last but not least is that the Skyliner Hub is located at Caribbean Beach, so it gives you direct access to Epcot and Hollywood Studios. But not only is a Skyliner good access to the parks, but it also is a way for families staying in the moderate resort to have a non-bus option to a park where they don't have to collapse their stroller each way. So all the other resorts, you're gonna end up taking buses to the parks, but here you could take the Skyliner to 2 of them without collapsing your stroller, and I feel like that probably is going to be a big selling point because it's such a tedious process for some of the big strollers. On the downside, this resort has a lot of internal bus stops. I believe it has more internal bus stops than any other Disney World resort, and this is perhaps the most frustrating part of staying there. Luckily, you do have the Skyliner to get to 2 of the parks, so we're really only talking about going to like Animal Kingdom, Magic Kingdom, Disney Springs. If you have your own car, it can make that part easier, or if you go to Riviera Resort, you can use their buses. If you happen to have a room close to that end of the resort, then maybe that's a good option for you. I think this resort would be #1 in the moderate category for a lot of families of up to 5 with young kids who will totally take advantage of the pool, the playground that's on the island, and the fact that they can roll their stroller right onto the Skyliner. So that is our take on all of the moderates. Do you have a favorite? I am curious, which one is your top pick and why? Please leave your thoughts in the comments, and thank you for watching.